So what version do you want? You want me to be nice?
I had to sit there on the runway and wait and text everybody and say, I might not make it, I might not make it.
It's frustrating, especially when you have kids and you're trying to communicate with them as well.
3.6 million. That's how many people AAA predicts will take to the skies this Memorial Day weekend. Angie Ernest's family are 3 of them. She just didn't realize that when she booked her trip.
Yeah, I did not think about it at all. I just assumed there was going to be a bunch of graduation travel and stuff.
AAA doesn't expect to see record air travel numbers this weekend, but they are projected to be 12% higher than before the pandemic. Angie says long lines were enough to hold her family up at security and make them miss their flight to Indianapolis.
It was pretty much a lot of large crowds, just people having way more stuff and not being as organized with getting their things placed correctly. It just kind of sucked because we were walking up as they shut the door.
I might have,
Donna Beasley tells us crowds weren't the issue for her on her flight out of Virginia.
I guess the original plane I was supposed to take broke down in Cincinnati, so they gave us a loaner plane, which was small and scary.
That flight left a little late, cutting into her short layover.
I did make it running through the DC airport, and at least I made it here, but my bag's not here, so that's it.
So I have to?
Carlos Michael Law says his trouble started after he landed at TPA.
So when I opted to utilize the public bus system, the bus driver doesn't adhere to the time of 2 p.m. and leaves 4 minutes prior, and 3 other customers were irate. I'm used to the letdown.
He said his son was driving from Gainesville to pick him up, and he was taking the hurdles in stride.
I won't let it dampen my whole vacation because I came to be with my only son, who I'm proud of. Just got accepted to Villanova Law School, so it's exciting.
What's scarier than demons with chainsaws in a graveyard? Clowns at the circus trying to love you. Welcome to Screamageddon in Dade City, where they lean into people's worst fears on purpose.
We survey our guests at the end of every season.
Winston McDaniel has done the research.
And year in and year out, people always say, I'm the most terrified of clowns.
Even worse to look forward to, it's Kilgore's 3D circus.
And we love the idea of 3D because it plays with your depth perception a lot.
Screamageddon offers 6 haunted attractions, and there are add-ons for the brave, like in Ravenhill Asylum, wear a glow necklace for monster kidnapping adventures.
Sometimes they're terrifying, sometimes they're a little bit funny. It depends on kind of where you get pulled.
There are more than 150 scary monsters scattered throughout the grounds, so there is nowhere you're really safe from the fear.
I would say if you're skeptical about like haunted houses aren't scary anymore, I would ask you to come to Screamageddon and go through one of our houses alone and see if you have that opinion when you get done with all of them.
They are waiting in a field in Pasco County. Good luck. On the town in Dade City, Virginia Johnson, Spectrum News.
It is very intense. It's very entertaining to watch.
Rugby is probably the highlight sport, and I think it's an action-packed sport.
You are seeing people do incredible things, pushing their bodies and their mind past these obstacles that we're told and were given to them.
Absolutely. This is one of the best healing events that I've been through, and just to be able to compete and challenge yourself and work side by side with these competitors.
Our success story is actually at the games last year, the 22 Warrior Games. Team SOCOM earned the bronze medal, and that was a first for us.
Just the fact that they're out there doing it is reason enough for me to be able to wake up each morning and say, you know what, I need to give 100% of what I have today.
It doesn't matter where or how their injuries, you know everyone's been through multiple surgeries, multiple events, hundreds and hundreds of doctors, and it's awe-inspiring just to see people out competing, and especially some of the competitors that are a little more challenged than others. It gives you a real sense of pride that swells up in your heart.
At the Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Pete, boxcar 113-0695-5 is a symbol of evil.
The boxcar was used, to hurt people.
Though Hitler didn't even see the Jews as people. No, just like the boxcar, he numbered them too, as he crammed them into those boxcars and hauled them off to his concentration camps.
Boxcar represents hate, ugliness,
and murder. Many Jews would suffocate in here, and the Nazis killed others when the cars arrived at the camps.
Eine leere Idee, nicht ein leerer Formalismus.
That was Hitler's final solution: death. Exterminate every Jewish person there was, like Margot Benstock's dad.
My father's name was Max Fisch.
A German Jew.
I was his little girl.
And Irene Weiss's mother.
Her name was Rosa Katz.
Born in Austria.
She loved art. She loved to cook. She was very bright.
Yet Hitler wanted to erase them from existence. And if he'd been successful with Margot's dad, she would have never been born. And if he'd been successful with Irene's mom, she would have never been born either. But boats like this one are the reason they're here.
This boat represents good people and hope.
Yes, a boat. If boxcars were vehicles of death, boats like this were vessels of life. And I'm about to explain why. This is Denmark. 80 years ago, both of Margot's parents and both of Irene's parents, all Jews, lived here. But in 1943, word leaked Hitler was planning to round up all 7,800 of the Danish Jews, likely put them on boxcars, and send them to camps, where he'd order many of them killed.
It's inconceivable to think of it and understand that there's such evil people.
The Nazis were evil, but the Danes were good. See, on the streets of Denmark, a plan was hatched. Quickly, Danish Jews were told to get down to the docks. Quietly, they boarded fishing boats. And secretly, Danish boat captains helped them flee Denmark to a place where Hitler couldn't get them. An escape to save their lives. The captains prayed the Nazis wouldn't notice who they had on the boats.
It was very clandestine, absolutely.
They would often hide below deck, sometimes covering themselves in fish to avoid being spotted by the Nazis.
All my mother said was that she was very claustrophobic, and they put her in the bottom of the boat, and she was petrified the whole time.
But she was alive, along with 7,200 Danish Jews, almost 90% of the Jewish population in Denmark. They escaped by boat to freedom.
What they did with these boats was human and kind and caring for their fellow countrymen.
And a story worth being told.
Feels peaceful.
Yes, it's a positive feeling.
Which is why Margot and Irene, who both now live in Tampa Bay, arranged to have one of the few remaining rescue boats moved from Denmark to the Florida Holocaust Museum in St. Pete, where it will go on display.
First time I saw it, I cried. I really cried.
Because even though her father's parents, his siblings, and his 9-year-old niece were killed at Auschwitz, her dad survived because of a boat like the one she and Irene are touching.
It's part of history, the good part of history.
Boat KE-16, nicknamed Thor, a vessel of hope, a symbol of good. Jeff Butera, Spectrum News.
The thing that stands out driving through Paso Grill, it's still gorgeous, but something's off, upside down, bent. Under $1 million homes, you spot trash piles. They've actually made big progress clearing debris. I've seen it. But there is still enough furniture that you spot in the piles on the curbside to fill a house. We're talking beds, recliners, even flat screen TVs, now destined for dumps. To the north on St. Pete Beach, the majestic water and gorgeous white sand still lure people there. You're going to have to share space with giant sand piles and bulldozers. And the Don Cesar still towers over Gulf Boulevard. There's just this odd yellow tubing hanging off the building. They're dehumidifiers, helping to deal with the dampness that got inside during the storm. It's this strange reality where some things almost look normal until you look closer. Like this hotel on St. Pete Beach. From the front, it looks okay. But when you walk around to the side of the place, you see they lost a handful of microwaves, a handful of refrigerators, and basically their entire business center. So many shops in this section of St. Pete Beach also lost store signs, like here, and here, and here. We found them all over. Whereas this section of St. Pete Beach looks like a crime scene. Bashed out windows, and more yellow crime tape wrapped around Woody's waterfront than if police were here investigating a shooting. But I was struck leaving St. Pete Beach by this mural, finding a silver lining. Although let's just say Helene and Milton did not love St. Pete Beach back. But all of that was nothing compared to what we saw on Treasure Island. Dirt. So much dirt. In the road. In people's houses. In every place you can imagine. Helene and Milton basically relocated large chunks of the beach up here into the neighborhood. And I think it's fair to say that this was the worst we saw in our trip up the coast. In fact, it wasn't even that close. And there was less damage farther north in Madeira Beach, though we spotted power lines in tatters, seawalls wrecked, and places where the storms acted like bowling balls, bashing through houses and sheds. But I was still struck by the optimism people shared amid the destruction. Like the sign says, life's better at the beach, and so many have no plans to leave. Despite the debris piles, the dirt, and the damage, they see a future in paradise. Jeff Butera, Spectrum News.